There's something timeless about a house party. No dress code, no guest list, no velvet ropes. Just friends, speakers, a little food, and that one DJ with a playlist full of magic. In the Afrobeats world, house parties aren't just get-togethers, they're cultural monuments. They're where friendships form, romances spark, and community roots itself deep in foreign soil. And even with the rise of fancy nightclubs, sold-out boat cruises, and major festivals, one truth remains: Afrobeats house parties will never die. Every generation of Africans in the diaspora has lived this. From the early students in Scarborough, Mississauga, to the new immigrants in downtown condos, house parties have always been the heartbeat of the culture. They're where we first heard the latest hits from Lagos before they even hit the clubs. They're where we learned the dances, azonto, shoki, zanku, legwork, before they ever went viral. It's where the culture breathed freely, without bouncers, bar tabs, or closing hours. The setup is simple: a few friends, a Bluetooth speaker, a bottle or two of something strong, and food that smells like home. Somebody's auntie might have made jollof. Someone else brought suya from the African store on their way. Before long, the whole house smells like nostalgia. That aroma, mixed with the sound of Burna Boy's Ye or Wizkid's Ojalegba, creates a comfort no club could ever replicate. It starts small, 10, maybe 15 people. Then word spreads, yo, they're the party at Tun's place. By midnight, the house is packed shoulder to shoulder. Sweat on the walls, people dancing in the kitchen, a random guy controlling the AUX chord like he's on stage at Afro Nation. Someone starts freestyling in Pidgin, another grabs a mic to hype the crowd. It's chaotic, loud, and absolutely perfect. The beauty of Afrobeats house parties lies in their rawness. There's no stage lighting or fog machines, just pure energy. Everyone is equal. No VIP section, no bottle service. Just people united by sound. You don't even have to know everyone there. By the end of the night, you probably will. Someone will tap you and say, "My guy, you sabi dance so." And just like that, you made a new friend. Before Afrobeats dominated Toronto clubs, house parties were the only place you could truly experience that Lagos vibe. Back when promoters didn't yet believe African music could carry an entire night, it was these home gatherings that kept the culture alive. People brought CDs, USBs, or YouTube playlists filled with the newest jams for Naija and Ghana. That's how the sound spread, person to person, room to room. It was word of mouth, not marketing. Community, not corporations. And even now, when you can hear Amapiano or Calm Down at major downtown clubs, house parties still hit differently. They remind you of why Afrobeats exists: to connect, to celebrate, to feel. You don't need a sound system that costs thousands. A single good speaker can transform a living room into a Lagos street corner. The laughter, the shouting, the synchronized shouts of Wheel It. When a beat drops, that's the soul of Afrobeats. These parties are also a rite of passage. Ask anyone who grew up African in Canada and they'll tell you the first time they felt truly seen was at a house party. It's where they met people who looked like them, spoke like them, and understood what it meant to straddle two worlds. At school or work, you might have to explain your food, your accent, or your music taste. But here, you just exist. No explanation, no filter, just you. And let's be honest, the Afrobeats house party scene has evolved. What used to be living rooms and basements are now high-rise condos overlooking the CN Tower. The setups are slicker, LED lights, curated playlists, even ring lights for content. But the spirit hasn't changed. Because whether you're in a small Scarborough basement or a downtown penthouse, once that beat drops, it's the same feeling: freedom. Part of what makes these parties immortal is accessibility. Not everyone can afford a $50 ticket to a club or a $100 cruise. But everyone can bring something to a house party: a drink, a speaker, a vibe. It's community ownership. Everyone contributes, and that collective energy creates a kind of magic no amount of money can buy. And unlike most events, house parties have no set time limit. You start at 10 p.m., but by sunrise, people are still dancing. Someone falls asleep on the couch. Another person starts making breakfast while still in heels. The music never fully stops. It just fades into laughter and stories. Those moments, those half-tired, half-happy mornings, are what people remember years later. Another reason these parties will never die is how they nurture creativity. DJs test new mixes here. Artists play unreleased songs. Dancers invent moves that later trend online. Content creators film snippets that end up shaping the visual identity of the culture. It's like an underground lab for Toronto's Afrobeat scene, where experimentation thrives because there's no pressure to perform, only to vibe. And there's something spiritual about it too. When you're surrounded by your people, with the bass shaking the floor and voices singing in unison, you feel connected to something ancient. It's not just modern pop, it's rhythm passed down from drums in West Africa, remixed through time. House parties are the modern version of village gatherings, except now the village is spread across the diaspora. They also reflect African hospitality at its core. Someone always offers you food. Someone else makes sure you have a drink in hand. Even if you walk in knowing nobody, by the end, you'll be getting added to a group chat for next one. That sense of belonging is rare in big cities, but at an Afrobeats house party, it's effortless. And as the music industry evolves, these spaces still matter. Because fame doesn't start on stages, it starts in rooms like these, where someone plays a new track and the whole room reacts. Where someone says, "Yo, who is this?" and a new name starts to spread. Afrobeats house parties have launched careers, built friendships, and even inspired entrepreneurs who later turned that energy into full-scale events. There's also the intimacy. At a club, you're performing for others, looking good, being seen. At a house party, you're just being yourself. The laughter is louder, the dancing wilder, the energy realer. People let go of everything, the stress of the week, the weight of expectations, and just exist in rhythm. Even when police show up for noise complaints, and they always do, it becomes part of the story. People laugh about it the next day. Remember when they tried to shut us down right when Soweto dropped? Because nothing can really stop it. You can turn down the volume, but you can't mute the spirit. Afrobeats house parties are also intergenerational. Older Africans might not go clubbing anymore, but they'll happily host or attend one. It's where aunties and uncles two-step next to Gen Zs doing legwork. The music bridges generations, reminding everyone that African joy is timeless. In a world where everything's becoming digital, house parties also bring something people crave: real connection. No filters, no followers, just faces, laughter, sweat, and movement. It's humanity in its rawest, most joyful form. And that's exactly why they'll outlive trends, apps, and algorithms. Even decades from now, when Afrobeats evolves into something new, the house party will still stand. Because as long as there are Africans abroad missing home, there will be speakers in living rooms and playlists full of nostalgia. As long as there's love, rhythm, and community, someone will always say, "Come through. We're having a small vibe." And from that small vibe, another night of unforgettable memories will be born. So yes, the world can build bigger festivals, flashier concerts, and larger-than-life tours. But the heart of Afrobeats, it will always live in the house, in those moments where the music's too loud, the jollof's too hot, and the laughter never stops. Because long before Afrobeats conquered the world, it conquered the living room. And that's one throne it's never giving up. If you've ever danced barefoot in someone's kitchen or lost your voice singing along to Essence at 3 a.m., hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that celebrate the rhythm, the people, and the culture that keep Afrobeats alive across the diaspora. Because this isn't just music, it's memory, it's identity, it's family. And that's something no one can ever turn down.